What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I'm your host Mike, and today's video is going to be on the week 6 must add players video. I just want to reiterate that these are players you should be adding permanently on your roster, and it's not based on their schedules for next week. So some of these players have a little bit worse of a schedule next week. Don't worry, the waiver wire targets and schedule preview video will be out on Sunday, and that will cover all the streaming options with the better schedules next week. You guys have been crushing it with the likes lately, so let's try to get to 200 likes in this video. So click that like button before we get started. And if you're new to the channel, make sure you are subscribed. Let me know in the comment section below who your best ad has been this year. For me, it's been Montour. And honestly, I think most of you can also agree with that. So let me know in the comment section below. I'm very curious to see who you guys added. Some of you guys may be in deeper leagues and didn't get the chance to add him, or much more shallow leagues where you could have had some better players added to your roster. Make sure you jump in the Discord. The link's in the description. We have hundreds of fantasy hockey fans in there, and we're very active and consistently talking. Or if you want to just talk to us, all of that is available in our Discord. We are doing a Movember campaign. I will pin a comment below. You could tell Mustache Mike is out in full force today. We are trying to raise $500 from the community, and any donation is greatly appreciated. If you want access to all of our premium tools, our trade analyzer, or get some access to our Discord privileges, head over to our Patreon. The link is in the description. Without further ado, let's jump into the week 6 must add players video. The first player for this video that I'd be looking to add that's over 20% owned is Jake Sanderson of the Ottawa Senators. Honestly, we did have some high conviction on him going into the season, but the early minutes were kind of worrisome. But he is getting very good, very quick, and the Senators team could honestly use it. Going into the season, he was one of the highest conviction prospects in the league. We thought he was going to be very solid to start the season, but it does take around 20 games for someone to get situated and up to the NHL speed. Someone that's coming from the CHL or the OHL is probably a little bit slower, given you're playing against a lot younger players, where someone like Sanderson, who was in the NCAA system, is likely to get more up to speed, and he's coming in the league a little bit older, so his transition may be a bit quicker. In the first 8 games this season, he played about 18 minutes per night, and if you've listened to a couple of my other videos, I've mentioned that I do prefer defensemen that play over 21 minutes per night, unless you're a power play 1 specialist similar to Kalen Addison, who's playing 17 minutes per night, but on a team's top power play unit. But recently, Sanderson's minutes have been trending up. He's played over 21 minutes in the last 3 games, and since his first 8 games, he's averaging over 21 minutes average time on ice. He is getting a power play share, and this may be a contribution to his increase in average time on ice. They are doing more of a power play 1A, power play 1B situation over in Ottawa, similar to what we saw in Vegas with Theodore and Pietrangelo, 2 good defensemen. So they just split the units up, power play 1A and power play 1B, depending who has the freshest legs. He's been good early on, 13 games played, 7 points, 19 shots, 18 blocks, and 13 hits. Honestly, for a 20-year-old defenseman, his peripherals actually surprised me quite a bit. Typically, you see less hits and less blocks from these players, but his peripherals just add to his solid floor. He has a 53% on-ice Corsi for percentage, which is actually pretty good given the Ottawa Senators team have struggled in their own end and haven't been that strong offensively. If we see him start to play 23 plus minutes on a very often occasion, I think this makes him a very solid fantasy target, and he should be a must-add across all leagues. The next must-add player on this video is Brandon Hagel of the Tampa Bay Lightning. Now, I feel like I am late to reporting this. There were a lot of other fantasy hockey YouTubers that were calling out Hagel's ad, especially with his new deployment playing with Cooch and Point. But at 38% ownership, his ownership's just not high enough given his new opportunity. He's currently on line 1 and on the power play 1 with Kucherov and Point. That line together has a 3.82 expected goals for per 60, the 7th best line in all of hockey right now. His minutes are trending way up, 17 minutes and 28 seconds per night, a 4-minute increase from what we saw last season. But more recently, since the new deployment, he's played over 19 minutes in his last 3 games. And anyone that's playing in this top 6 and on the top power play unit in Tampa, and they're getting this many minutes, it's very, very beneficial for any player. He has 13 games played this season, 5 goals, 6 assists, a +8 rating. Very good numbers for Hagel in the early going with 7 points in his last 5 games. So he is very hot right now. So he's being scooped up in most leagues. But honestly, you cannot pass up this opportunity. Anyone that's playing power play 1, line 1 on a very good Tampa Bay team should be rostered across all leagues. Moving on to the last must-own player, 20+% owned, we have Anton Lundell of the Florida Panthers. I feel like I've been recommending Panthers quite a bit lately, but if you go on Money Puck and you sort by goals scored above expected, you can tell that this whole team is getting unlucky still, and Lundell has been actually really good for them. He has a minus 2.1 goals scored above expected, meaning he is the 31st most unlucky forward in the league. He has just 1 goal on 34 shots, a 2.9% shooting percentage, 11% less than what we saw last season. Now, he is currently power play 1, and at the time of this video, Ekblad is coming back to play tomorrow night. So we may see Lundell off power play 1. We're not entirely sure right now. Let me know in the comment section below if you've heard anything. But in 14 games this season, he has 9 points, a +7 rating, 34 shots, and 11 blocks. A weirdly good block rate, and we saw that last year. Someone like Matthews has a weirdly good block rate as well, so this does add to Lundell's floor. 8.2 shots per 60, which is an increase from 7.3 shots per 60 last season. Anyone that's taking more shots is definitely on my radar, meaning they're just getting better overall offensive opportunities. He's averaging 17 minutes and 54 seconds time on ice, a +2 minute increase from last year. So just overall better deployment from Lundell. Top 6 role, power play 1 on a Florida Panthers team that I think, and this may be a hot take, they will be a top 3 offensive team for the rest of the season. So I want to get my hands on as many Florida Panthers players as I can across all my leagues. Moving on now to my deep league players, less than 20% owned. We have Jake Bean of the Columbus Blue Jackets, defenseman at just 1% ownership. One of the scarcest positions in fantasy right now. I feel like everybody's struggling to get their decor intact. Jake Bean becomes a great ad after Zach Werenski goes down for the rest of the season. Very unfortunate news for the Zach Werenski owners, and just very unfortunate news for the Columbus Blue Jackets as a whole. Bean is now the power play 1 quarterback on Columbus, and in his first game with Werenski out, he played over 26 minutes. This is just a huge opportunity for a young defenseman to step in and really make his presence known. He's not going to give you a lot on the peripheral side. He doesn't really shoot that much. He doesn't block. He doesn't hit. But the goals, assists, and power play point upside is enough to make Jake Bean a must-add player in 14-plus team leagues. I think the opportunity here is going to be massive for him. I don't know if there's any real threats to his spot on the power play 1 or the first pairing. They have a lot of defensive defensemen, so I'd be looking to add Jake Bean across all 14-plus team leagues. Moving on, guys, this is another player that's benefiting from an injury, and so will the next player, Akira Schmid of the New Jersey Devils. Vanacek went down with injury last night, and Schmid stepped in, and he is now the starting goalie on this team. Mackenzie Blackwood is hurt as well. We don't fully know the status of Vanacek, so I will likely try to update you guys in the Discord if you're in there on if he becomes a must-add or not. But for right now, if you're in a deep league, you're looking for a starting goaltender, your waiver wire's thin, it doesn't hurt to add this guy under the assumption that Vanacek will be out for a little bit of time, and we already know Blackwood's going to be out till Christmas. He has a .260 goals against average and a .911 save percentage in the AHL in 2021. Now, we can't really predict how he'll be at the NHL level. I feel like AHL stats are almost completely irrelevant. Jack Quinn, for example, was a point-per-game player in the AHL last season, and he's struggling going into this year. But he's worth an ad. You may secure yourself a starting goaltender on a very, very good Devils team. They continue to dominate nonstop, day in and day out. Where are all the Jack Hughes haters at? This Devils team has been exceptional. They have the 3rd best Corsi for percentage. They are 1st for shots for percentage and 4th for goals for percentage. No matter how bad or how good this goalie may be, this Devils team is going to make him good, making him a must-add player in deeper leagues. The next must-add player in those deeper leagues is Jesse Puljujarvi of the Edmonton Oilers. Now, Evander Kane is out 3 to 4 months. I'm happy he's stable and in a good condition, but this is a long-term injury. He may be a drop in some leagues depending on your IR spots, and it looks like Jesse Puljujarvi is now going to be filling in that line 1 role with McDavid, but there is an issue right now. I do think this may change. The Oilers do have history of just completely changing their lines every game. But for now, I think he's worth the ad given the upside with him playing with McDavid. 15 games played, he's been very bad this season, just 2 points, 24 shots, but he has added 33 hits. I feel like when you're playing the depth on the Oilers, your job is to play more of a checking role, and that's what we're seeing from him. So I think we're going to see a little bit of an inverse upside in some of his stats. His shot volume should start to rise playing with McDavid, and it's likely that his hit volume is going to deplete a little bit from what we've seen in the early going. I did like him quite a bit last season. 65 games played, 36 points, 160 shots, and 81 hits in 2021. He was a very good category coverage player last year, and I'm hoping to see the same thing from him in the next couple months. We do want to keep an eye on his deployment this season. He can easily move down to the third or fourth line, but I think he is worth the risk right now. The final must-add player for this video for the players under 20% owned is Fabian Zetterlund of the New Jersey Devils. I'm really excited to talk about Zetterlund, and when I was looking into him, I was extremely surprised for what I found. He is currently on the top line with Hischier and Tatar. This was tweeted out about a week ago on our Twitter, but currently this line has been dominating. A 3.92 expected goals for per 60 as a line, the 6th best in the NHL. His minutes are trending upwards. He was playing about 11-12 to start the season, but now he's up at 14-16. Very positive sign from him. In 9 games played, he has 3 goals, 5 points, a +6 rating, and 27 shots on goal. And the shots on goal is what I want to talk about here. He has a 13.3 shots per 60 rate, the 12th best in the NHL, and a 67.6% on-ice Corsi for percentage. This is insane numbers from such a young player, and honestly, I was hyping up Holtz in the preseason. He is what I thought Holtz was going to be. So add Fabian Zetterlund. This Devils team is very good right now. His line has been dominating. Hischier's really hot. If Zetterlund begins to see some more minutes, 16 to 18 minutes, he is going to be a very valuable player in the second half of the season. That'll do it for the Week 6 must-add players video. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like. And if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you all in the next one.